you very much. So, welcome from me as well. Good morning, everyone. As indicated, so Cumulocity might be quite new name to you. It's a spin-off from Nokia Siemens Networks, and we are a cloud-based software company focusing on the machine-to-machine domain. Okay, today I'm talking about M2M applications as well as the ecosystem of the future. What I would like to do is a quick recap on yesterday's presentations, especially categorizing the business applications we have been talking about. So let's then start with the first slide. In a way, we could categorize machine-to-machine applications in three areas. One is business process optimization, so really driving business process. We talked a lot about this yesterday. It's about a business transformation project. It's connecting sensors to devices and creating a virtual image of the real world. In a way, what we do is we kind of try to manage things we can only measure, connecting them. I like that expression actually yesterday from the colleague from Swisscom, I think he mentioned that. And we really try to optimize then existing business processes and really squeeze out the business improvements. Examples, remote maintenance, logistic process improvements, or smart city use cases. And as I mentioned, it's quite heavy lifting because it requires really a business process optimization program. So it's like these PPT type of projects, you know. People, products, and processes need all to fall into place in order to gain OPEX savings. We have seen, we run several projects on that. We have seen, OPEX improvements in that particular domain of processes of easily 20, 30, 40%. It depends obviously on the use case, but it's a very attractive motivation why you should deploy machine to machine. So that's the first category, and we spoke yesterday a lot about these categories as well. The second category is actually the introducing of new business models, also discussed a lot. So in a way, what we do is we introduce, based on an existing product offering, we introduce something like usage-based pricing or event-based pricing. Usage-based insurance yesterday was mentioned by Mark Overton from Everything Everywhere. Or printing based on how many pages you print rather than buying a printer as a capex upfront. Coffee machine based on how many coffee you drink or how much coffee you drink rather than buying the coffee machine with the coffee. Or another example in that domain is TAAS, a term that came along a year ago from Michelin, the tire company. So they call it tire as a service. So the idea here is you basically offer around your tires, you offer a whole service wrapper, meaning you do not just sell tires, but you sell the service of when you have to change the tires to the logistic company. So you measure the tire situation, you have sensors in the tires, and then you actually call your customers for supplying the tires when it is needed. So your customer is basically focusing on the logistics, on the driving the trucks and delivering the goods, but they don't have to worry about checking the tires of their truck. So they are basically offering a service wrapper around their product, and it's basically, in a way, it falls into the second category, introducing new business models. And then finally, last but not least, obviously, we have the new service offering as a category of machine-to-machine solutions. New revenue streams through, for example, big data opportunities. Here, as an example, I have this connected vending solution. I think that was also mentioned yesterday by Mark Overton from Everything Everywhere. We worked together on that project. What we wanted to do when we started 2 years ago, we wanted completely to reinvent that experience a customer has simply buying or purchasing vending products. And we defined what we called a customer journey in front of vending machines, and then we added functionalities and features to it. It's not just about OPEX improvements for vending operations, it's also about adding, advertising billboards. A lot of these machines nowadays have a high definition billboards, and they're completely underused. So what we have as an idea together with EE is basically implementing advertising capabilities in these vending machines. We also add cashless payment, obviously, it's a natural extension. Or then another one, which one of our clients in the UK is doing, they're offering free Wi-Fi access for buying a vending product. So, and then what we have in addition, we have several, internet-based integrations to that vending. For example, coupon vouchering solutions. There's a large American chain. They have their own vouchering and coupon solution, and they like to combine that also with products they want to sell through vending solutions. And obviously, once you have connected a simple vending machine to the internet and have defined APIs, you can then mesh it up with other internet solutions and services like coupon solutions. And I think that's it's just a simple example, but it shows that there's a lot of new service opportunities when introducing machine-to-machine as well. On the data side, another example we're working on is telematics data. It's a project actually in Berlin. Berlin is the capital of Germany. They actually have a massive financial problem. They have a massive debt, and they have not enough money for, in a way, maintaining the roads in a proper way. So they're working with a lot of other institutions on that. But we have a project there where we collect, it's not an application project like a usage-based insurance or something like this. It's more like collecting traffic data, using this data in order to optimize, for example, the road conditions. In today's onboard units, you have a 3D motion sensors. And what you do there is actually, so you can pretty much identify also the condition of your car driving on the road. So if you have a large hole, for example, in your car, you get an indication. If you get several indications, several cars having the same experience, so you collect data points for your street conditions, and you can actually color these. For quite okayish, holes in the road, which you do not afford or don't want to afford, correcting immediately, you kind of color them green, and for very severe problems in streets or on roads, you color them red and so on. So what I'm trying to say is, these data, projects or data opportunities emerging now very heavily, and there's limitless of ideas how to optimize and how to monetize these data feeds. And for example, with that project, we are trying to help optimizing the investment into road maintenance to the only critical areas where they have to attend to, rather than in a traditional way they did it really on a time base without really knowing the real-time conditions of that street system. Okay, so these are the three categories, but what I really wanted to talk about today is, and we heard a lot of great examples yesterday on these categories, but what I really wanted to talk is about the future, because I feel it's good to understand what's happening today, how you monetize your business today, how to generate revenues, but how about exploring also the future M2M ecosystem, and what do you need to make now? What are the decisions you have to take today in order to be ready for the future? And what is the competition you face actually in the future? For me personally, I think it's much more interesting to understand the future competition, because with today's competition I can't do much about it, right? So you have it, you compete with them. But in the future, anticipating the future, I think you can try to position yourself in a unique way to differentiate, not just on price or on other basic competitive issues, but really to differentiate. So anyway, so I thought, let's discuss about the future ecosystem. In that way, I think best to predict the future is looking a bit into the past as well, where we are coming from the machine-to-machine business and industry. We started 10 years or even more than 10 years ago, and many people have been involved in these projects where we had large enterprise-driven projects to really optimize processes or automate things in large enterprises. that business was very heavily large enterprise driven and hardware driven. It was really about customizing hardware devices for a single purpose and then bespoke integration between this device into the application or then into the enterprise IT backbone. So it was very, I would call, heavy driven system integration projects which the whole industry really started to emerge. Today we have the first disruption point in our definition at Cumulocity, which is that we see it actually very software driven already. So it's not only today, it already started maybe 2 years ago or 3 years, it's difficult to say, but it's fundamentally changing. It's actually changing in a way that we want to separate the hardware devices from the software innovation, because software is beautifully scalable. Especially if you design software in the internet, you can scale it up without any issue globally, or not any issue, but you can scale it up in a nice way. And that's why you need to build it for hardware independency. So you need to build it for device independency. And that's actually exactly what's happening today in many projects we are asked to come in. But people ask us that they would like to see actually their solution or application to be rolled out or deployed on the global scale, but also independent on the local flavored hardware or local flavored internal protocol. And they really would like to reuse this piece of software in a sophisticated way. And I think that's an important change. So today's machine-to-machine business in our definition is very much a generic software solution business. Software as a service is becoming increasingly important. And it's not only enterprise driven, it's a lot also on the consumer side, but mainly what we see now is it becomes affordable for small to medium-sized enterprises to do these projects as well. Prices has dropped, both connectivity as well as modem and device prices, and that really enabled a new driver or new adaptation for small to medium-sized enterprises to look into that opportunity. Critical success factors here is certainly, when you talk about software solutions, is about how do you sell software solutions. So software solution selling competences, software business and cloud computing. Now what is going to happen in the future? So obviously when we talk about these billions of sensors, and it's actually not devices, there's a difference between sensors and devices. Sometimes I think we oversimplify and think about billions, 50, I think there's this great example always with this 50 billion. Anyway, it's not 50 billion connected devices. I think, I think it's about 50 billion sensors and much less devices. But let's say no one really knows. It's a forecast. But in the Internet of Things, we talk about data monetization, we talk about consumer-driven use cases, and obviously we talk about the Internet business model. And actually our competitors, coming back to that comment I made earlier related to competitors, our competitors will be Internet players. So there's a disruption happening at that point, certainly. Now, and that's obviously, I'm not saying that's a future prediction. We don't know basically, but at least that's our prediction at the moment. So if that's the case, if the future looks like the M2M ecosystem is the internet, obviously the internet will change over time, and it has the last 20 years. Then we talk about anyway some very important things to remember is openness. Open source plays a very important role on software. Easy and intuitive to use applications. And for consumers, we talk about free to use applications, probably including hardware. And for enterprises, we talk about a system where you need to be able to offer a free to try opportunity for your customers before they buy something. That's the intimate domain. So you have to have a very operational efficient setup for offering 30 days or 3 months trials in an instant to your customers. So it should be almost come to at no cost to you in order to be able to offer these capabilities. So it's a prediction of the future, and let's look into an example. I took now an internet example. I know we are at the M2M World Congress. I should have taken a machine-to-machine example. I mentioned some earlier what we are doing, but in order to build on the thoughts I'm having here, I like to take a very simple internet example and then come back with that example and try to reflect it on our M2M industry. Internet example I'm taking here is Google Apps. So it's, let me just point out one thing. It's not an app store, what I'm making as an example. It sounds like an app store, but it isn't. So it's not like iTunes from Apple or Google Play. You know, you download an application on your smartphone and that's it. So the example is different. The example is about Google Apps. It's a business offering. I think 5 users you get, for 5 users you get it for free. So it combines Gmail for businesses, the Google Drive, which is a storage-based, similar to Dropbox, a storage-based file sharing. Then Google Docs like Word or PowerPoint or Excel, and then we have the calendar. And you get it for first 5 employees, you get it for free. For the 6 ones and onwards, you pay several euros, a seat-based pricing, several euros per user. Now what is nice about this concept is actually Google attracts you with a core application set of suites. So they attract you to join that. For example, our company, we are using the Google Apps. And now what they do is, in addition to having Google Apps, they have what they call a Google App Marketplace. And that is actually a nicely, sorry about that slide, you can't see it in a very good way, but what I wanted to identify here is actually a screenshot from my desktop. You have the access to all the Google Apps, but then you have also more, and then you subscribe to additional software as a service offerings which are integrated in the Google Apps framework. For example, we're using their Atlassian On Demand, that is for our agile software development team. The tool for communicating and planning the R&D backlogs, etc. Or Zendesk is a software as a service travel ticketing tool. We're using our company, nicely integrated and so on. But just giving you an example, so you push actually, if you like to have more applications, you say even more. That's the last sentence there on that pull down menu. And you click even more, and then you end up to be in that Google Apps Marketplace. And you select any other CRM or whatever software as a service application you like to add to it. And the example I'm giving, why I'm giving that example, is really about trying to highlight that it is a nice way of seeing the future, maybe also in our industry, because Google Apps Marketplace is an online store. Yeah, it's similar to online stores like iTunes, but it's actually it works with integrated with the existing Google Apps you're using. And actually, it is basically using the Google APIs they are penetrating, Google Apps Script, and the administration is the same. So once you use Google Administrator or Google Admin in your company, you can do via this Google Admin console, your admin also your other software IT services, also solutions. And then you even have, just as a nicely integrated, for example, single sign-on, everything there. So you don't have to worry. So you have actually no system integration projects like you had in the past when you think about enterprise IT projects where you add a new software to your enterprise backend. It's a massive project. We have done that. As I mentioned earlier, Cumulocity is a spin-off from Nokia Siemens Networks. We have seen these projects a lot, and it takes half a year, 9 months before you have a new software implemented and integrated with some other software you have. Here with that example, it's fully integrated, pre-integrated, and it's ready to go, and you can use that software almost instantly. So now coming back to machine. So that was the internet example from Google. Now coming back to machine. And it's actually summing up now my presentation is the last slide. So when we want to exploit the future of the M2M ecosystem, we should seriously think about how internet companies are doing it today. and try to use our assets as the M2M player, whatever asset you have. For example, you're a modem vendor, you have strong assets on the modem side, you are a mobile operator with your connectivity assets, or you are a software house or a device cloud provider like us, application cloud provider, and you have then to think what could be your core M2M applications. In a very similar way as Google did with thinking about their core application. They want to attract people into that ecosystem in order to offer additional software as services. So now you have to think actually what could be your core assets and applications which you penetrate the market and then populate your APIs and build these nice experience for pre-integrated offerings. And here in this example, you see that, for example, that on the right side looks pretty much like the Cumulocity cloud by coincidence. So you see actually that in our vision, we want to connect any device, whatever the device is. Is it Java-based, SE, ME, is it C, C++, Android, or whatever binary proprietary interface the M2M device talks. Our vision is to connect any device into that environment and then define core capabilities which we would like to, together with our partners, like in this example, yesterday Jürgen Hase from Deutsche Telekom mentioned that Deutsche Telekom Group is using our platform environment for exactly starting to define machine-to-machine core applications which they then want to offer and build their own ecosystem around that environment. And once you connect devices and you offer a device cloud with storage and a data device management as a service, for example, and you have the data in your database, then you can also think about data monetization businesses. Rather than in the traditional old way where we have bespoke solutions and bespoke databases for one single purpose hardware or one single purpose software, you will actually be not able to monetize the data opportunity. So you really have to think today, now, how you want to implement your machine-to-machine business. And obviously, our recommendation would be to use a cloud environment where you start collecting data and build up your own core assets in order to attract and partner with your partners in the future. Indicated also here is on the northbound, the application cloud. Here, some core applications could be, for example, monitor, control, analyze, manage. And the vision we have at Cumulocity is that we want to enable a machine-to-machine application in one single day without software coding. It should be just done by graphical user interfaces, just by heavy users or what we call key users, or people who know how to use internet tools already today. They should be able in the future to set parameters for monitoring applications, to control devices, to set thresholds, to implement real-time event agents in a very easy, intuitive way. And that's a bit our answer to the challenge of tomorrow of having also to compete with a lot of internet software companies going forward. And then on the northbound you see the REST APIs which connect different verticals. I think I guess that it's a well-known fact already. We will not see we will see quite a few vertical dependent ecosystems or even sub-vertical dependent ecosystems. Really depends on who is building these capabilities around their own core assets. And what we need there is we need to have a vision to interconnect, especially if you think about consumer-based free usage services. You need to interconnect with different domains or subdomains in order to enable data monetization. So again, cloud-based storage plays a very important role, and then partnering and cooperation with other system builders in other domains going forward. So we as a Cumulocity, we see ourselves as a technology company helping many partners to enable this vision, and we basically we are at the background and hoping to be of use for many of these future internet-oriented machine-to-machine application environments. Okay, that was my presentation. Thank you very much.